The way you write a for loop in Python is you will use a keyword called for. Then you will use the variable here, which is nothing but your loop variable, the way you have used in while loop, and you will use in keyword and from collection and sequence, meaning that for every item in collection, it will pick it and execute the statements whatever you wanted to do. Like for example here, I can take example and I can show you like how I can the collection or sequence can be. Oh, Rajshekar says that a lot of resound is coming. Okay, let me check with others as well. Is there any problem with audio? Okay. So let's see here. Let's wait for a minute and check that is if it get resolved. Okay, I'll just check, huh? 1 minute. I'll just check. Is it okay now? Okay, so the voice is okay, right? The audio. Yeah, thank you guys. Fine. So thank you. So I'll like to explain with some example. Like I'll take for variable in collection or sequence and we'll execute some statements here. Like for example, I was talking about like collection or the sequence can be any type actually. Basically, it can be a string type. Okay, string comes under the sequential data type. List comes under the sequential data type. Okay, tuple comes under the sequential data type. Okay, you can also use set. Okay, which is a type of collection. You can use dictionary. These are the different data structures or the data types available in Python. But remember, integer, float, boolean, complex, they don't come under the sequential or collection type. So we cannot use integer list, integer float or something directly here now. Okay, that is one of the very important thing, that you cannot write an integer here. Okay, you cannot like for I in 10 or for I in something, the way you used to do in for loop, you cannot do that way. Okay, you can use only the sequential type or the collection type. That is one of the very important thing here, that you can always use the sequential type or the collection type, and then you can execute those statements here. Okay, for example, I can say for, okay, I can take a for loop like this. Let me write like this. I can say for loop for I in, okay, I can take a string like anything, like for example, for I in Python, for I in Python, put a colon, and then I can write a print statement and I can say print, okay, print, okay, and followed by, for example, after every thing, I wanted to print a hyphen. I want to print a hyphen. So what happens now, the way it executes is, it picks up the first item, okay, from the sequence, which is P will be stored in I, and P gets printed, and after that hyphen gets printed. After that, hyphen gets printed. Next loop, the Y will be picked up automatically, and the Y will be printed and followed by hyphen. Then T will be picked up and T will be printed followed by hyphen. Then H will be printed followed by hyphen. Then O will be printed followed by hyphen. And after even N, the hyphen will be printed here, which is not actually looks good. So instead of hyphen, let me replace with space, so that hyphen doesn't look good at the end of the print statement actually. Okay, so that's why let's execute this code and check what happens now. So I'll start with my Python ideally. So I'll say Python here, okay, and I can show you that how things look here now. So I'll open a script actually, sorry. Okay, so I'll just try to open out, like I just try to write a for loop now for I in Python, for I in Python, and then I just go colon here, and I can just say print, okay, print, and I can just print this I value. Make sure you write n, because otherwise it every time goes in next line. Let me show you what happens if I print hyphen here now. Okay, so when I run this code now, when I run this code as a control function F5, then you can see here Python is getting printed. Okay, Python is getting printed, but you see that hyphens are getting printed at the end of every statement. Okay, so because end is equal to hyphen we have given here now. Now if I just go back here and remove this and give a space, and now you can see here that space gets printed now. Okay, so Python is getting printed the way we want, Python. If I remove that space, it will be printed as it is. But basically, this is how you loop over a string and you get one by one value of it. So now you see how readable it is. They're saying that for every I value in Python, you just print I, meaning that for each item in that string, you do something. As I'm just printing it, but you can perform some action over it and then print over it. That you can do it there. So that way you can take a for loop in Python and you can print the value of the for loop, something like this. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. So I hope you understood how the for loop works for strings. Internal operation is something like it picks one by one element from that for loop, Kudal. First time I told you the I will hold P, where I would be iterating for the string. Like a lot of places, Aditi, because most of the time you get a string and you wanted to print the value one after the other. Okay, a lot of time, like you wanted to play with the string, you do a loop over a string. That's why they have made this for loop for sequential type like string, list, and all. I'll show you with other data types as well. Like for example, I'll go here with list now. List will be used with square brackets, as we know. I say 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. Okay, so string is a sequence of characters. That's why it is collection type. Yes, SK, that's true. String, list, tuple, they all are collection type. Why? Because it's a sequential sequence of characters or sequence of integer. Now you can see list is a sequence of integer. or collection of some elements now. Now if I just do run this code now, if I just run this code here, and you can see that it gets printed me 1 2 3 4 and all. No, that's what, Santosh. No need for increment, no need for initialization. It does all automatically. Okay, it picks the element one after the other and it will update automatically. So first it will pick one and put it in I. So I will be one and it gets printed. The next time two will be picked up and it gets printed. Next time three will be picked up and gets printed, and next time four gets picked up and printed. So you don't have to worry about initialization and updation. So that's the beauty of such kind of for loop. That's why it is more recommended to use, that you don't have to worry about this initialization, condition, and incrementation. Nothing. You just simply write the sequence or the collection. It will automatically iterate and gets you the value automatically. So every time it will be help. Okay, I'll show the diagram. Okay, Kudal. So this is what I shown you here now. That yeah, that's what we will conclude that, Ubul. We will conclude why there is no do while. One of the reason, like as Aditi said last time, that they don't find the perfect construct for do while loop because of the indentation and all. I'll show you. Because for the indentation, even PEP has suggested a few do while construct, but later it was neglected and it was not included in Python 3. So they don't have a do while now. For the for loop executes the code bit n number of times. Is it true? It executes actually based on the sequence till the length of the sequence, Rajshekhar. Okay, implicitly it will found the length of this particular sequence, and till the length of that sequence it automatically executes. Diagrammatically this is how it will execute, guys. First time it will pick me I contains p now. Okay, I will contain p. So it goes p will be, because somehow some internal reference will be pointing to this p, and it picks the first item from that string now. So once it picks the first item from the string and I contains P, and it goes here and gets printed P. Second time, as P is printed, then the reference will be updated. To that reference, what they will do is they will pick another value which is Y. So next time I will contain Y. I will contain Y, and then it gets printed. Third time, similarly, T gets picked up and T will contain in I and gets printed. And similarly for H, and then O, then N. So one by one, automatically the reference gets updated, and from that sequence, it takes one by one value in I, and then it gets printed. It takes one by one value in I and gets printed now. So this is how the for loop works actually, and it gets printed. Same thing for our sequence like 1 2 3 4, and it gets printed. Now instead of printing, can we perform some operation? Like, can I add all the elements of the sequence, guys? Can I add 1 2 3 4 and all? Okay, how can I do that? How can I add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 now? How can I add this 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4? What can be the logic? To do that, what I will do is I'll take one variable called s for sum and initialize to 0. Right? I will take s is equal to yeah. Take another variable. Very good, Ubul. I'll initialize it to 0 because I have to store sum in that. And what I will do, s is equal to initial value of sum plus the I value. Okay, because we know that I will contain 1 first time, second time it will contain 2, third time it will contain 3, and then fourth time it will contain 4. And then what happens? Sum will be 0, 0 plus 1, it becomes 1. Next loop, 1 plus 2, it becomes 3, 3 plus 3, it becomes 6, and 6 plus 4 will become 10. So that way I will come out and print that s value, because the sum, final sum, I have to print it, and you will see that the answer 10 will get printed. The answer 10 will be printed. Okay, and if I increase some more values in the list, all of them gets added and gets printed now. Like I will increase like 5 6 7, then I will run the code again, and this time you see that it added up to 7, and we got the answer as 28. So that way I can find the sum of those integers, okay, in a list. So you can see here how easily I can write the code. Main thing, you don't have to worry about the condition, you don't have to worry about the updation, you don't have to worry about the initial value. It automatically take care of all those things. It automatically take care of all those things now. So for I in that list, it picks one by one element, and both all of them gets added here. Okay, so all good. Shall we go for this exercise now? Okay, the way we have solved yesterday's problem, I would like to solve this problem using for loop now. Can we solve this problem using for loop? You have to write a Python program to print 1 to n natural numbers without new line. Last time we solved this with while loop. Now I have to solve this with for loop now. Using the knowledge, whatever I have told you, can you solve this problem using for loop? Okay, okay. So everybody says yes, that's good. So how do you solve? Yeah, perfect. But what is that range, guys? What is that range? As everybody is talking about range now, can I not iterate directly over an integer? Number of iteration? No. Okay. Can I say for I in n, for I in n, I take n is equal to some value from user? Can I do that directly like this without range? And then print that n, print that I? No, right? We cannot do that. Why? Because I integer is not comes under collection or sequential type. Integer does not comes under sequential or collection type. When I run this code now, I will be getting an error saying that integer object is not iteratable. You see, you cannot iterate over an integer or a float or a complex type and all. You cannot iterate because it's not a collection of some item. Integer is a single element, right? It's neither a sequence nor a collection, so you cannot over integer. So for that reason, Python has given you one beautiful function actually. Python has given you one beautiful function. So let us talk about that function. Okay, let us talk about that function now. So the function name, okay, let me talk about that function here. The function name is range function. The function name is range function. So let's talk about range function. Range function is also available in built-in type. The range function is also available in built-in type. And let me talk about the syntax of the range function. So it's a function, guys. Range is a function. Okay, and let me talk about the syntax of the range function. The syntax of the range function, because whenever we wanted to generate some integer values, you will make use of this range function. Whenever you wanted to generate some list of values, you will use this range function. Because see, for the list, I can take 1, 2, 3, 4 to some range. But what if I wanted to get some list of 100 values? What if I wanted to get the list of 100 values? Then you can make use of this range function, because range function will automatically generate the generator by which you can convert into list. By which you can convert into list. Let me show you the syntax first of all. Let me talk about the syntax of the range function. The range function actually takes three parameters. The range function will actually take three parameters. The first parameter, okay, actually there are two range functions. Let me tell you, there are two range functions. One will take the stop value. Let me write that. Okay, let me write out now. So one will take only one argument now, which is a stop value here. So I will say stop. Okay, and then you'll have the close bracket. You'll have the close bracket. This is one function available. Another range function available with three values. Another range function will available with three values there. Okay, so one is start value. Okay, one is start value. The default value is 0. Okay, the start value, comma, the start value, comma, stop value, and the step value. And by default, the step value is 1. By default, the step value is 1. So these are the two functions we have in Python. So range will only take the stop value. Otherwise, we'll take the start value, stop value, and the step value. Okay. First, let us talk about the range function only with stop value. Okay, range function with stop value. Suppose I go with Python now. I'll go with Python here. Okay. Okay, so now what I will do is I will take just a range function. I'll just take a range function here now. You know what will be the output of this range function? Range of 10. Range can take only integer value, guys. But you can generate some random. Also, there is a value like random way where you can generate some float value as well. But generally, range will be generating a list of integers actually. Very good. It will generate the list from 0 to 9. It will generate the list from 0 to 9. As you can see, 0 comma 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma whatever up to 8 and 9. Okay, so one thing we have seen from here, that as we don't mention the start value, so start value can be of there is no character first of all. Okay, there is no primitive concepts sk. Okay, yeah, it's list, right? List has a comma all by default. Okay, it generates a list actually. So stop value, one thing you need to understand about the stop value is up to but not included. One thing we need to understand about the stop value is up to but not included. But not included. So it will not include this stop value actually. Okay, so that was we need to be very careful about that. Whenever you are mentioning the stop, it will not include that, it will not print that, so it will stop at -1. So that's why you be careful with that. So if you wanted to print 10 as well, make sure you give 11 or give one extra to that. Okay, actually guys, it will return you list in Python 2, but in Python 3 it will return you generator object. As you notice that I executed in Python 2 actually, so that's why it's returning list. So there is a difference in range function in Python 2 and Python 3. We will talk about the differences as well, okay, in some point. But let us understand today, both will work same way, but there are differences. Like if I ask the same question in Python 3, if I ask the same question in Python 3, let's run Python 3 now. Okay, I'll remove everything and I'll run Python 3 here. And you can see here, if I ask the same question in Python 3, range of 10, it will simply tell me that it belongs to a range of 0, comma 10. It will not always print me list. Satyam, you got it now? The range function in Python 2 and range function in Python 3 is different. It does not return you list, it just return you the range object. It's returning you the range object, but here in Python 2, it's returning a list. So just to show you the output, I'm using Python 2 so that you can see very clearly that is generating a list of items here now. But there is generating a range object. So why generating a range object? We will talk about it. We will talk about it. What is an advantage of range function in Python 2 and what is a range in Python 3? Okay, so we will talk about it. So range of 10 will generate up to 9 now. So this is how you can use this first value now. And second type, if you also wanted to generate the range from 1 now, not from 0, I wanted to generate range from 1 to 10, then I must write 1 to 11. Then I must write 1 to 11. It gets you the value from 1 to 10. It gets the value from 1 to 10 now. So you can give start value and you can give stop value. Okay, that's what default value of start will be 0 in that case. Yes, in Python 2.7 it is always list, Satyam. That's true. In Python 2.7 the range function will always returns you the list value. Okay, that's perfect. So range of 10 will return 0 because starting value will be 0 if you don't mention. Okay, it will automatically starts with 0. This is how they return the logic in the range function, and it will go till that stop -1, so it will go till 9. Now if you wanted to print 1 to 10, then you will be printing 1 to 10 something like this. Then you will be printing 1 to 10 something like this. Now if I wanted to print, as somebody said that you wanted to print some between value, like you can start the range from anywhere like 2, 3, 4 and all, and you can give any end range type. You can give any end range as well. Sometimes you can generate minus values also. I can say -1 comma -11. You know what will be the output now? What will be the output now? -1 comma -11. Anybody? Okay, Aditi thinks it will be -1 to -10. It will be -1, 0, 1 and all up to 10. Okay, actually guys, it will be no output. It will print no output. You know why there is no output? Because the rule for range function is always start value is bigger than stop value. The start value should be greater than the stop value now. Is it -1 greater than -11? Is it -1 greater than -11? Yes, Satyam. In negative, -1 is greater than -11 actually, right? So it's greater. So that's why it will give you empty list. It will give you empty list. It will not generate. If you write this way, if you write this way, -11 comma -1, it will work now. It will work now. It will give you -11, -10 up to -2 only, because -1 will not be included again. So always remember, you cannot print like this now. You cannot do this way, range of, okay, 10 comma 1. You cannot do that. You cannot do that 10 comma 1. Okay, if you say 10 comma 1, it will say empty list, because you cannot give the start value more than the end value actually. Okay, so that way you can print negative as well. Okay, you can print positive numbers as well, but only make sure that start value should not be bigger than stop value. Okay, that is what you have to learn now. Okay, and also let me introduce you step. The step value will be like you wanted to update by two values. Like I wanted to print all the even numbers now. I will say 1 comma 21. I want to print even numbers, so I will say that update by 2. So you see that all even numbers are getting printed: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So all even numbers are getting printed because I updated by 2 value now. I updated by 2, so all even numbers are getting printed. Now if I wanted to print all odd numbers, I will start with 1 now. So I'll say 1 comma 21 comma 3. So it will print me all odd numbers: 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, and 19. So that way, sorry, it's not printing odd numbers because I say it by 2. It should be 2 only, not by 3. Okay, so I need to say 2 steps. So you can say any step. Step means you need to update by what? So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. This can be my odd number now. So I am printing only saying that go by 2 steps. So this is my start value, this is my stop value, and this is my step value. Okay, so you can mention all the three here as I shown you in the syntax. One range function which will take stop value, the other range function which will take start value, stop value, and step value. 21 because I wanted to end up at 20, not including 21, because I already told you that end value will not be included. So that's why it's printing up to 20 only. It will not print 21. 21 is an end value, guys. 21 is an end value, and 1 is a start value, and 2 is a step value actually. 2 is a step value here. So 1, 21, and step. Clear, everyone? Okay. So this says perfect. You all understood range function, right? So range is a function to generate list. Okay. So if you wanted to generate a list of 100 values, you can generate very easily in Python. I can say 1 comma 101. That's all, guys. And you can see that it generates me list of 100 elements. It's so easy. Okay, it's so easy. So by default step value will be 1. Yes, that's true. By default the step value will be 1. Okay, so let me show you the syntax of the range function. Now we know that we can always do help on step, help on range, so that you can see what we discuss is correct or not. You see, there are two range functions. There are two range functions. One takes stop value. It generates the list of integers actually. It generates the list of integer. The other one is start value, stop value, and step value. Start value, stop value, and step value. Okay, and it also generates the list of integers as in Python 2.7. As in Python 2.7, there are two range functions which will take stop value, start value, stop value, and step value. So brackets tells that it's an optional. By default, it will be 1. It can be changed by 2 or something. But if I ask, you can see the return type, list of integers. Very clearly it told. But if I ask the same question in Python 3, Python 3 will tell you something different. Python 3 will tell you something different. Python 3 has decided that there will be only one function about range. So let me just click here. Now you can see here that range has a stop which returns the range object, not list of integers. Do you see the difference, guys? So it returns you the range object, not list. Okay, and it also takes start value, stop value, and step value, and it also returns the range object. Okay, Shikawat, I will explain Shikawat what is happening there. Let me explain that with an example. Okay, as we took here, for example, as we took here range of, I took 1 comma 21 comma 2. So what happens now that it will print 1 first of all and update by 2 values. So what will be the next value, Shikawat? After 1, if I wanted to update by 2, I want to go 2 steps actually. I want to go 2 steps. Okay, so it will be 3. It will be 3, 2 steps. After 1, I want to go 2 steps. It will be 3. Then I want to go next 2 steps. Okay, so it will be 5. Then it will be 7. So that's why it's generating me odd numbers, and actually it will go up to 19, and after 19 it's supposed to go 21, but 21 cannot be included. 21 cannot be included in that case because 21 is the end value or stop value, which will not be included. So 21 is not going to include. Same thing when I start with 2 now. Same thing when I start with 2 here. Then what happens? It starts with 2. It starts with 2 now. So first it will print 2 and then go 2 steps. Then it will go 2 steps. Okay. So then it will be printing 4. Then it will be printing 6. Then it will be printing 8. So step means basically the difference between two consecutive numbers. Yes. Okay. The difference between two consecutive numbers. So it will say go 2 steps, in update by 2 steps. This is how you increment by 2. Okay, like instead of I is equal to I plus 1, you can write I is equal to I plus 2, right? You can update by 2. You can update by 3. You can update by 4. So that way, if you wanted to update by 1, 2, 3, or 4, that's what the step value comes in picture. That's what the step value comes in picture. Yeah, that's what. Step 2 means update by 2. So after 2, it will be updated by 2, so it will be 4. Step 1 means increment by 1 or update by 1. So 2 will become 3. Update by 2 means 2 will become 4. Got it, Shikawa? Anybody else having any question regarding range function? Anyhow, you will do some exercises, Shikawat. You will get more clarity. But this is one of the very useful function. Okay, it is generally used to generate the list. If we write range of 18 means it will take from 0. No, SK, it will take from 0 to 17 actually, not from 1 to 17. Because that is by default. Because most of the time sequence and collection will have 0 index. So sometime it will be used to generate the index value also. So that's why it's starting from 0, not by 1. Yeah, I will talk about Python 3 later, Aditi. Let us do that some exercises on for loop. Then we'll talk about why it is not generating list. Yeah, we need to talk about it. Actually, it was like very important interview question before. Now, as Python 2 is almost gone, so that is not like a hot topic for interviews. But anyhow, we will talk about it. Why there is a difference between Python 2 and Python 3, we will definitely conclude. Okay, when we tomorrow especially, we will conclude and we will complete this loops concept by tomorrow. Yes, that's true. It should be integer value only. Sometimes let's see that can we generate some floating point value. Okay, that's what SK's question. Can we generate some floating point value? Because list can contain floating point value as well. So let's say that I wanted to say range of 1.2 to 5.6. Let's see what happens now. It says range in argument, integer n argument expected got float. So it proves that range always takes integer n. Okay, integer n. Let me at least take the stop value. Let me at least take the stop value now. I'll say 1.2 comma 5. Okay, still it says that start argument is expected to be integer but given float. So either neither you can give start value as float nor the end value. So it will not work in that way. So you cannot generate list of floats actually. You cannot generate list of floats. But there is a way, like you can randomly generate some float list and then you can iterate if you want, but very rare. Generally, we wanted to generate the list of elements because of index values or something. We wanted to generate those values. Okay. So shall we go for this program now? So I wanted to write this program, okay, where I'm printing up to that range now. So I'll go to this demo and I'll here take that range from user. I'll say n int of input, and I'll say here enter the range, okay, and double quotes here, and one more brackets gets closed now. Now I'll take a for loop for I in the range of for I in the range of 1 comma n plus 1. Make sure you write one n plus 1 here because it will not print n otherwise. It will not print n otherwise. And you wanted to print in same line, so I will say I comma and I will give it as space. And I will give it as space. This is how I can print the above program. So don't you think that it's better than while loop now? We did the same program in while yesterday. We said I is equal to 1 while I less than or equal to n, print the value and update the value. Anything get missed with initialization and incrementation, the whole program will be gone. So that's why the for loop will be better in that case, and I can run this code now, and you can see here it's getting printed here. Okay, it's getting printed here now. Enter the range. I will enter the range as 17. It's perfectly printing. It's perfectly printing me the range of up to that range value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and up to 70, it's getting printed. Okay. Any questions? Sir, why developer introduce while and for loop only for loop enough? Yeah, that's what we need to understand, because for loop cannot resolve all the problems, Ubul. We'll see some problems where you have to go with while loop. Okay, we have some problems where you only can go with while loop. The for loop will not help you in that way. So we will see that. So for while loop still needed. Okay, because for loop is can work on some sequence and collection and also can generate some range of values, but still while loop is required. So by this time we would have completed data types. It will be more helpful because list people don't know what it's exactly. Santosh, actually, there we required for loop actually. That's the reason we are discussing loop value before data type, because it's okay not to have list tuple right now, but when we discuss after that, because you need to have a clear understanding about the for loop. So I'm not worried about list, tuple, dictionary, all these things right now. Your concern is correct. I do appreciate that. It should be, can be. Actually, it's totally depends. Some people covers data type and then for loop. Okay, but I realized that it was not helping students actually. Okay, when we talk about without loop, if I introduce list or string, it's very difficult for them to understand. So that's why once they have a clear understanding about loop, so you don't worry about list, tuple, dictionary, set right now. Only understand the range. I shown you a little bit of string list, okay, so that you can understand. Basically, it meant for iterating over a list. Basically, it meant for iterating over a list or string or collection type. Okay, but we can also use range function to generate the range of objects. Thank you, Santosh, for your concern, but I hope you do agree that it will be good. Like after this, we will start data type. So next week is crucial because next week we will start discussing data types actually. Got it? Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Santosh. So let's go and do some exercises. So we did this exercise, right? So we got printed exactly the same. Can we go for next exercise now? You have to do with both while loop and for loop so that you can see the difference. Okay, the next exercise is same, quite same, but you have to print in reverse like this, not comma actually. You can print space. So you have to print the natural numbers in reverse order. It will be 0 to 9, Vamshi. It will be 0 to 9. What about built-in function can we use other than range? No, you cannot use other than range any built-in function. Okay. Yeah, initially it shows 0 comma 10 because it generates a generator object, and that generator object will generate all the numbers in a for loop. For loop will take care about that, Vamshi. Once he gets that range object, he knows how to generate the value at the runtime. So that's the beauty of that actually. Okay, that's the beauty of that. So that's what we will discuss when we discuss Python 2 range versus Python 3 range. Okay. So anybody done with this? I can see Ubul has sent the code, which is 100% correct. But it's okay because you need some additional knowledge for this, because writing 10 to 1 will not work. Do you agree? Suppose if I say n comma 1 or n to 0, obviously will not work now, because we already seen that 10 comma 0 will not work, because you should cannot give the bigger value and then smaller values. This will not work actually. Okay, so when I run this code now, and if I give value as 10, it does not print me anything. It does not print me anything. So only changing this value will not enough. You have to also write the step value in this case. Okay, and you have to give the step value as -1. Remember, when you give the step value in negative, it means you're asking them to go in reverse. When you give the step value in negative, it means you're asking them to go reverse now. Now I will run this code. This will print me the value from 10 to 1. Very simple. Okay, only you have to give the step value as -1. Can you help me out how to do with while loop now? I have to take I variable, initialize it to n using while loop. Okay, and I have to take a while loop like this. While I have to say that I is greater than uh, 0, I is greater than 0, and then I have to print I, okay, and n is equal to space, and I have to update the I value. So you need to be very careful about the updating and checking the condition and everything. Okay, so this is for loop and this is while loop. Let me print a separator in between so that you can see the difference. Okay, I'll print hyphen in between for 50 times so that you can see that both gets printed now. So I'll run the code now. You see the same output. I'll enter the range as 10. It's oh, it's something wrong. I minus, sorry. Thank you, Ubul. It should be minus. Okay, it's getting incremented and it becomes a kind of infinite loop. Now I enter 10. Both are printing perfectly fine. Both are printing perfectly fine. But the line is coming in same line, so I can use slash n, so that comes in next line. So I'll run the code again, and you can see that I enter the range 10. It's printing me that 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1, and then 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. So that way it's getting printed now. Okay, so that way this is how you write for loop, and this is how you write while loop. Understood? Any questions regarding for loop and while loop? Print in while block, that's why printed 2 times. Where it got printed 2 times, this is one time for loop and this is for while loop. There are two print statements. So that's why it's printing 10 to 1, and here also it's printing 10 to 1. Satyam, you got it? Yeah, Ubul says no question. Thank you, Ubul. Rajshekhar, I'll show the output once again. So this is the output now. Enter the range 10. It's printing me 10 to 1 and 10 to 1. But step value should be given, that case SK. Step value makes sense. Then now you're saying 10 to 1, but you're saying that now you go reverse. If you mention the step value as -1, it actually you're actually telling that go in reverse. Okay, so that way I told you it should not be, but including step it is possible. That's why with this example I wanted to teach you. That's why I didn't told you that time. Is it possible to loop from condition of while loop and print only one time? Sorry, I didn't get your question, Satyam. If you really like can speak if you want. so that I can understand your question. Sometimes block in print under while print many times until loop. Sorry, still I didn't understand. Do you have mic, Satyam? Okay. Yeah, anything you can write inside the while loop that will be printed till that number of times. That's true. Okay. Okay. So that is the case, then you have to go with while only. That's what I told you. As Satyam is 100% correct. In this case, you have to go with while loop, guys, because it is not fixed. See, for loop is fixed number of times it will loop it. Okay, so you go one reason I will tell you when to go for loop and when to go while loop. You will go with for loop when you know the fixed number of time you wanted to loop it. If you don't know how many times you wanted to loop, you will always go with while loop now. Okay, you don't know at the beginning of the problem, you don't know how many times you will be looping. Then it depends on the body of the loop. Then you always go with while loop now, not with a for loop. So that's why for loop is called entry controlled loop. For loop is called entry control loop because it is important to mention that what is an entry point. It requires an entry point. I hope you got the answer, guys. Like I didn't remember, someone has asked that why we have a while loop if we already have a for loop. Because I told you this is a major reason why we have a while loop. So always you have to go for while loop. That when you don't know how many times you have to loop it. We have anyhow some exercises to do that. You will understand that time because I will be asking now to write the program with both the loops. But some programs you cannot write with for loop, you have to go with while loop in that case. So that's the reason we do have a while loop here. Okay, so that's perfectly correct, Satyam. You can just write the input here now. Suppose I write input. For example, I'll say print input. Like for example, int of input, int of input. So what I will do is I'll say every time you print until I is not equal to 0. I is not equal to 0, you keep printing it. Okay, that's all. Until I is not equal to 0, you keep printing it. And then what I will do is, okay, I will give I value to something like because 1, okay, or I will take input directly inside the loop itself. That will be much better. Okay, int of input, int of input. That's a question from Satyam, so I'm answering him. Okay, that's the question from Satyam. I'm answering him now. So I will just do this. So, but print what I have to print now. Okay, I can print directly here. Nothing wrong. So I can write a while loop. We're looking very odd, but that's perfectly fine. But it should be having something here. Pass. Okay, now let's run this code. I'll remove this value. Now it will take input until user wants. Okay, until user enters 0. So I'll run this code now. It will taking input 1, 2, 3, minus 10. Okay, whatever you enter, it gets printed. When you press 0, it will come out actually. I press enter, so that's why the problem. Let me run this code again. So I'll enter 1, okay, printed, 2, printed, 3, printed, 0, it came out. Okay, so 0 is not equal to 0, it will be false, so it will come out automatically. So whatever it enters, oh, but here I wrote print because print is returning none. So that's why it didn't came out of 0. Okay, so that way it didn't came out of 0. So let me not print it otherwise. I'll just write the code for input. So now let's run the code here. I will say 1, it 2, 3, 4, and say 0, it came out. Okay, as you can see, it came out. Oh, Satyam, I hope that was your question. No, not exactly. I think his question is this one. that how to take input till the user want. Oh, your question was something different. No problem. Okay. You got the answer. That's good. Anyhow, we will come across with some such kind of problem. We'll definitely do that. Okay. So can I send some homework now? Okay. Thank you, Satyam, for confirming. No, that way we cannot do that, Ubul. It will be a problem every time because you are taking end value from user every time. So end values keep changing, so things will not work in that way, Ubul. Okay, it's not. That's why I didn't understood. The way I understood, I try to answer. Nitish, we will plan if you want. Okay, we will plan if you want some revision classes, but after loops we will plan. Okay, because all our fundamentals will be covered. So after loop, any topic if you want me to revise, definitely we'll do that on weekend. Especially on Saturdays, now we can do revision if you want. Okay, so that way we will plan. Now, shall we go for some homeworks now? Okay, look at the problem and tell me, can you answer this problem? Okay, you can do this, right? Take screenshot. It's very easy. I hope you can do that thing. Okay, and next problem is I think some of you have done in WhatsApp group. I have seen this printing a mathematical table. You enter the number and you'll print the table. It was included in the assignment, so I think someone has done with that. Right? Yeah, thank you, Nitesh. So can you do this with while loop and for loop, guys? Can you do this using while loop and for loop? Yes, right? So do with both. Okay, Satyam, I will check question number 40. I will check and I will update you in the WhatsApp group that what is about question number 40. Okay. Yeah, the previous question is okay, Abhishek. It's just to check the range function. I think not needed. Okay, not needed, but still I'll show you. Yeah, now I think you can solve Satyam. After loops, because 40 onwards, the problems are based on loops actually. 40 onwards, the problems are based on loop. Okay, I think now after tomorrow you can solve the problems. If not, we will solve here. Okay, if not, we will solve here. Yeah, all these kind of problems you can solve. That's what these exercises I'm going to do now. Okay, so now you can see this, you can do it. The next problem is this one. I think after this problem, you can do that Armstrong, prime number, whatever you can do after this problem. Because whatever the logic you will learn in this problem will be implement for all the numbers. Sum of numbers, Armstrong number, okay, that all you can do it. So we will solve here, no worry. So can you do this problem as well? Like Python program to count the number of digits in a number? Yeah, that's what. Reversing of number, finding the sum of integers, Armstrong number, all dependent on this logic actually. I think we are going good way. Okay, that it actually mapping with the topic what we are covering. So it's very good. So Satyam, Ubul, Aditi, all they are in track. I hope others also solving this problem. Yes, Satyam. If you understand this logic, if you can solve this for me, then you can solve any of the problem like Armstrong, reversing of a number, sum of the number, because that's very important logic actually. Anyhow, I'm going to explain you, don't worry. Tomorrow we will solve few problems like Armstrong number and other problems. Okay, but you have to solve this problem for me. You have to take the integer value and you have to print the count, and remember it's an integer value, not string. Okay, not string. So you have to count by taking this integer value. If you enter the number as 1, 2, 3, convert into integer, and then you have to count the value. How many values are there in that integer? You have to count it. If it is 1, you should print 1. If it is 12, you should print 2 digits. If it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you should print there are 5 digits. No problem, Satyam, no problem. Tomorrow we will solve all those problems. That's why I told you, and that's what very good, guys. I do appreciate Satyam that you have to try for the logic. Never look for the problem anywhere. Don't take anybody's help. That attitude will help you like anything. You will grow like anything, guys. Because if you take help or if you look for the problem, you lose the confidence. You lose the confidence of solving the next problem. Believe me. Believe me, you will lose the confidence of solving the next problem. So never ever look for the problem. So that's very good to hear, Satyam. You're trying, but you didn't got the logic. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. I will tell you definitely tomorrow, but till then you have to try. Yeah, so that's good. That's good. So already we have this in other languages, so that's why you solve this problem. But try with for loop, Ubul. Can you try this with for loop? Now you see there has a different syntax of for loop, and definitely tomorrow we will discuss this problem and few more problems on pattern, so that by tomorrow, this weekend, you can complete all 50 problems. So that from Monday we will start discussing data types, where you can start solving set 2 problems. We keep on track, like guys, make sure you finish all 50 problems by this weekend, so that set 2, which are little complicated level, can be start discussing from Monday. Okay, that's true, Ubul. You can try this problem using while loop. Huh? Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow with more discussion on loops actually. Yes, you can all do those kind of problems, SK. We'll try to do that in list as well. There are lots of problems in list, string and everything we will do. Yes, that's true, Kiran. We'll divide with 10 and all. So that's perfectly fine. So here the division will help you. That can be a hint, guys, that you can divide the number every time. Okay. So bye, Nitesh. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Bul. Thank you, Aditi. That's what you need to try that, Satyam. I will explain tomorrow. Okay, try these 2 problems. Remaining problems I will explain tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Have a good day. Thank you, Snehal. Thank you, Abhishek. Yeah, I'm waiting, SK. Yeah, thank you, Shikawa. Thank you, Udit. Thank you, Satyam. Thank you, Saif. Yeah, thank you, Anjali. Have a good day, Nagaraja. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Santosh. Thank you, Ramana, Daljit. But I see these days, Ramana, Daljit, I hope you're understanding, but we need some more interaction with you all. Yeah, have a good day, Ubul. Unless you're following, that's fine. Uh, yes, definitely. We will solve it in some special class. Yeah, thank you, Narendra. But do practice and ask question. Okay. So next day I'll be expecting questions if you like, because my intention is you should not leave the class with some confusion. You should clear that possibly, or much better, revising something and asking next day will also be well, much better. Leap year is very easy, Aditi. You have to just check whether it is divisible by 4 and not divisible by 100. Okay, it's all about logical operator and then printing whether it is a leap year or not. You don't need to use nested if else. Okay, you can simply use AND operator for that. Yeah, that's true, right? Okay, definitely we will solve such kind of problems. Okay. Okay, that's true. Okay, so no problem. It's not compulsory, guys, but it will be good. Especially last 10 problems, if you can solve from now, it will be better, guys, because that can be little important for kind of things to understand loops in a better way, because all whatever we discussed till now, among all loop is little more important, or obviously conditional and operators as well. but this loop will be important because in future sessions we'll use loop a lot. So that's why if anybody solve first some problems, you can skip few problems, later you can solve it, and you can at least start from 40th one. Okay, 40, 41, at least up to 50 if you can solve by this next week, it will be okay. Then after next week you will start set 2. After next week you can start set 2 problems to be solved. Once set 2 completes, then our actual problems will start, which will be for competitive level. Okay. Thank you all. We'll take a leave now. Okay. Yes, Satyam. That's always good if you create your by your own logic. That will be good if Satyam if you do that. No, no. You should. It takes time. It needs practice, but you should be like that. Obul, we will try that. Huh? This weekend little busy, but I will try to manage that. I'll try to manage one class so that I can help you out, like how to prepare for placements and all. Okay, no worry. As I'm right now dealing with that, so I can easily help you out with. Okay, so that is all for today, guys. We'll see you. Have a good day. Yeah, thank you all. I'll take a leave now.